If you're struggling to scale your offers with ads, this is the video that you need to watch. You have a good offer. You know it's good, it's helped people, all of this sort of stuff. You're running ads to it maybe, and you've got a couple of sales, but it's not consistent, and you don't really know what's going wrong. See it all the time, and I'm going to run you through the key things that you need to do and then things that you need to focus on to actually be able to scale your ads, because a lot of people get this wrong. I see it all the time. So let's get into this, right? So scaling offers with ads. So this is when you've got that proven offer, you know that it works, you've got happy customers, you know who your target market is, all of this. And then you start to throw some traffic at this offer and it's just not scaling. Maybe a couple of sales, maybe some other stuff. And you go into these communities, you may be coming to my community, Growth Models Plus, and you start to ask these questions. I see this stuff all the time. And essentially those questions are around how can I reduce costs, increase CTR, right? So if we're looking at this in the stats, CPM, and this is a unique outbound CTR. This does not matter whether you're using this on Meta, doesn't matter whether you're using this on Google or anything like this, right? This is what most people focus on. And the logic behind this is 100% on the money in the sense of CPM, cost per mil, which is how much you spend for 1,000 people to see your ad. If I can get this down, more people will see it for the same amount of money, which means more potential customers. CTR, if I can get this up, more people then actually see the sales page and the offer, hopefully leading to more sales, assuming the conversion rate stays the same. Logically, makes complete sense. In reality, complete bullshit. And I'm going to explain why. Last month, I was running ads to a $7 offer, multiple thousands of dollars spent on this across different ad sets, different tests, all of this sort of stuff. And I want to break down how this worked because it proves that this isn't what you should be focused on. So ad set one, we'll just call it ad set one, it was a 7.5% unique outbound CTR. Now in my industry, the biz op niche where it's super, super competitive, most people are looking at like 3%. Okay. And that's good. 3% is pretty decent. So 7.5% people are like, Pete, teach me your secret ways, Mr. Masterman. I didn't teach anyone my secret ways. The reason being these ads drove a 0.16 ROAS. Woo. Basically, I lost a ton of cash on them. Number two, it was like a 3.12 or something percent CTR. And this ended up being a 0.96 ROAS. Oh, they both ended in 6. That's cool. And this one, over the period of the month, I think overall, I spent something like on this particular ad set, it's like £1,200, so I lost £50 in terms of the actual money that I lost. But all of the other sales, I basically covered the cost of those, okay? And goes to show that this high CTR, and this one had a lower CPM as well, is not really the way that you should be focusing, and I'll explain why. So let's talk about why CTR is not the be-all, end-all, okay? So essentially, CTR is just an indicator of how well the ad piques curiosity and piques interest of people, right? And in this sense, I'd created an ad that people were like, I need to learn more about this. So they were clicking on it to go through to the next stage. Amazing. The problem is that very few of those people bought. So what this is then telling me is that I'd created an ad that was getting high clicks from people who were not good customers, not ideal customers for me. The way Meta in particular is moving, and I'm sure other ad platforms will go the same way, is to have this more of a black box approach to marketing. You throw all of your creatives and some basic guidelines in, but it will find the right people. And it will optimize based on early engagement metrics like CTR. So basically, I had one ad that was attracting people who were not a good fit for my offer. They started clicking on it, and Meta then started pumping more money into that specific creative to throw it out to more people. Basically, I was getting loads of clicks of people who were not a good fit for the offer. It's kind of like if you wanted to run ads for, I don't know, a Ferrari dealership, right? It'd be very easy to get loads of clicks by targeting 16-year-old boys who think Ferraris are cool. Are they ever going to be able to buy? No. But you can make the ad account look great in terms of those ad metrics. Get a low CPM, you can get high engagement. Wow, this car's beautiful. Loads of comments, loads of likes, loads of clicks, but no sales, right? Absolutely pointless. So CTR is not what it's about. That second one, where the CTR was 3.1%, was much lower in terms of the ad engagement. It had fewer comments, fewer likes, lower CTR, but it brought in buyers, right? For that $1,000, I think that ad campaign brought me roughly 50 new customers off that ad campaign for the month, right? Not a huge number by any measure. So what I'm trying to say is if you want to scale ads, don't look at the ad metrics, look at the economics. Scaling ads is all about the economics, right? You cannot scale ads just by making ads that get highly clicked. That's much, much easier than getting ads that get clicked by your ideal buyers. Focus on the economics and it makes everything a lot easier. Here's how you can do that. There's a couple of things that you need to focus on. The first, payback period, right? The old method of running ads, especially for like BizOp, coaching, consulting, agency stuff, where it goes ad to webinar to call to close. And then if they say they drop off the webinar, they get a nurture sequence. If they drop off the call, they get a nurture sequence. Everything kind of pushes into that next stage. This does not work as well as it used to because the economics just don't play out, right? People are burnt out on this and you end up spending a ton of money here and you're waiting a very long time, weeks, sometimes months, to actually make that money back. The question is, if you are spending, right, 1K a month and it takes you 3 months to close the deal of these people that have clicked here, can you afford to carry 3 months of advertising and operation costs without getting money back in? Most people can't. If you're running ads consistently, that is 3K down the drain just on ads. If you're paying for an agency, it might be another 1,500 to 3K just for the agency to manage this stuff. Doesn't work. That's why most people give up on ads before they've really figured this out, because they cannot afford to run ads until they get to the point where it actually starts making a return. So you really need to focus on payback period, right? That is the first thing. Stay alive is essentially the message here. Run ads that help you stay alive. Usually with my ads, I'm getting, I'd say it's 24 to 48 hours payback period because I run with low ticket offers, which means like ads to an impulse purchase. So anything between $7 and $47. This is what I'm finding working well right now. People click on it. I put $100 in today. People click on it. And with the right system, they're paying me back tomorrow, the day after. Okay. Now, if we go back and look at those stats, this is still not good enough. And I actually increased this so that the ROAS would be better. The problem here is that if you don't have a good balance between these two next metrics I'm going to mention, you are at the mercy of any volatility within the algorithm, like Facebook ads algorithm. And so once you've thought about how long can I afford to eat costs before I start to need to see money coming back in, you need a balance between two costs or two metrics. Average order value, which is how much they spend with you on transaction number one, right? And this is customer spend. And cost per acquisition is the other metric that you need. And this is how much you spend to get them to become a customer. So this is your spend. This is customer spend, right? And most people, they're running ads to a $7 product and they're going, why the hell am I paying 3 times the amount of my product to actually get a sale in? They're running a $7 product and they're wondering why they're having to spend a $21 CPA. So you're losing $14 to get this. And you know what I tend to see, especially on this lower impulse end, you're looking at 2 to 3 times the cost here as a CPA. Completely unscalable, right? What you need to do is you need to massively stack the average order value so that you are insulated against fluctuations in the algorithm, and also that when customers come in, they are covering your ad spend. Here's how we do this. I had a $7 product. I had a $47 bump offer. I had a 99 and then a 100. Okay. So really here, if we tally this up, let's just do the round numbers, 254. So it'd be like 253 actually. $253 potential order value. And I was getting on that $7 ad campaign, you see the ROAS was 0.96, so I wasn't making money. I was spending, it was 22, 23 pounds. So that would be about $30 average order value. And I was paying actually 26-ish CPA. So I was making, for a lot of the month, $4 profit. This is too close a margin for my comfort. What I needed to do to really scale these ads is to increase that average order value, because what you'll see happen over time, as you increase the spend and try to scale your offers, if we say that this is the average order value, right? Your average order value is going to be here. The cost per acquisition, as you increase spend, up here's higher spend, it will start to thin out to eventually to a point where you're there, and that's when you're really panicking. And if you don't do anything about it, the cost per acquisition will overtake and you'll end up making a loss. The more you spend, the more it seems to cost to acquire customers. So you really need to focus on improving that average order value. So I went back and I've looked at this funnel that I'd built. That was too big. So I was like, right, so how can I increase the average order value? This is a monthly recurring revenue. This is a recurring fee continuity. So actually, if they stay with me for 3 months, it's another $300 there, which is great. I try not to think about that because I want to try and pay ads off super quick. So what I did was I introduced a much better $297 here. If I get 10% of people to take this offer, then what I've effectively done is I've added another $30 to that CPA. So it will go from 30 up to, it was 10 before, so we'll call this 50. This means I have more of a buffer between me and the algorithm upping costs, having days where it just doesn't find buyers and I'm wasting my ad spend. This is how you can scale ads. And so what a lot of people that I see do is once they have a working offer, they're focusing on the wrong ad metrics to begin with. But 2, they're not really understanding their payback period. And 3, they're not really balancing the average order value versus the cost per acquisition. You need to make sure, if you really want to scale an offer, that you have the right system in place to increase that average order value, which shortens that payback period. Okay, you want to make the payback period as short as possible and the average order value as high as possible for you to be able to scale this. The reason is that ads are becoming so expensive. Right now, especially on Meta, the algorithm's all over the place because they're trying to let AI take over so much. And at the minute, it's not really dialed in. It will get better and better. But if you can actually run offers now at break even or profit and be able to scale that to 5, 10, 15, 20 customers per day, you're going to be in a better place once everything starts to settle down. And so really you should be focusing only on these things, which is don't focus on ad metrics. Ad metrics are a good indicator of whether or not the ad is working, but really you want to make decisions on scaling based on the economics. So payback period, how long does it take you to earn back your ad spend? And then average order value, try and increase that as much as possible by the back end upsells and the bump offers and all of this, because the more people spend with you, the safer you'll be from fluctuations in the algorithm and all of this sort of stuff. It really is all about average order value. Of course, then you might be thinking, well, Pete, that's great if I get to this point and I'm going to be making, what would this be? $24. I think I said that was 50. $24 profit. That's great. Never going to become a millionaire off $24 profit per person, all of this sort of stuff. Yeah, that's great. Later on, when you're scaling the actual revenue of the business, you look at the lifetime value, right? Average order value is about scaling the ads, getting that volume of serious buyers in. Then you can look at getting them to buy again, which focuses on the lifetime value. But for the time being, what you want to be doing, focusing on average order value. Increase that. Most people who have proven offers that they cannot scale with ads is because they're not focusing on that initial transactions average order value. It is the key. When you're scaling with low ticket offers, average order value is pretty much everything. You've got to really focus in on that. Okay. If you have any questions about how to do this, drop them in the comments below. If you want all of the systems, templates, support from myself and the community, personalized support, all of that is as well. Check out GM Plus. There'll be a link in the description to join the community. It's $99 a month to have you scale these offers. And if you have any other questions, like I said, drop them in the comments below. Good luck with it. Focus on AOV, focus on the economics. Fuck everything else. It's a bit of you'll start chasing loads of vanity metrics and be very busy but not productive. Just focus on getting average order value up and good customers to the page.